Iron sharpening iron, hit a spark when we speak. Stronger together, yeah, we building each week. Each one reach one, now the whole world know. Big Jack StoryTime, Walt Talks, let's go.
All right. Welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is my man, Walt Talks. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And Walt, what's up, man? What's going on?
Yo, man, I had the Knicks in 6. I didn't put no real money on it, but I had the Knicks in 6, man, and they showed out, man. I just didn't think that could be possible to beat a professional team, to come back on a professional team 4 times for the win. I just didn't expect that, man. So yeah, but I'm glad the Knicks won from the standpoint of it's been a long time, you know. It's good for basketball, it's good for the whole situation, but my Knicks fans been giving me the business, man, and I'm already tired of the fact that they won, man. I mean, I'm like, come on, man. Come on,
I mean,
man.
you think about it, though. You think about it. The 1973 was the last time they won.
Hell of a year. I was 10. Yeah.
That was a line. I was only 3. So look at it that way, 3 years old. And then the fact that there has been 8 different champions in the last 8 years. So that says a lot about the NBA. You know, the NBA has changed. And then for those who are coming in, this is the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. And we were just talking about the NBA finals that ended yesterday. You know, it's amazing because I'm sitting there watching. We got the NBA finals, the NHL finals going on. The World Cup just started. I'm watching the World Series collegiate baseball. MLB baseball is going on. The WNBA is going on. I mean, if you were about sports, it's like, wow. I mean, hey, to the point, and I'm not even throwing it out there, but UFC is on the White House lawn today. So it's like, what's going on? But if you're about sports, you know, you say you couldn't find anything to watch, you just weren't looking. So but we know we're gonna focus on Father's Day this whole month, and so it's Father's Day month, and we're gonna celebrate the fathers out there. So every father out there, happy Father's Day to you, even if we're a little early because we're celebrating it all month long. And we got a wonderful guest on today. To help us get a little bit more better, or I'll say better understanding. He's as people would say, an OG. He's one of the OGs.
Triple OG. He's a triple OG.
Triple OG.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, in my family, he is, he's definitely our go-to person. You know what I'm saying? That's the more like sit in the seat and hold his ring out, and we say Godfather type thing. You know, that's how he rolls sometimes. But looking forward to having him up on the stage with us. So I don't even want to hold up. I'm gonna get him up here if that's all right with you. Are you good with that? And we get him up on the stage so we can get this show cooking and going.
Let's make it happen.
Welcome to the stage. Yes, sir. All right. We got Frederick Jackson in the house. What's up, sir?
Attention on deck.
Triple OG. That sounds like I'm getting ready to step in my grave. Triple OG.
Oh, man. Hey, you got to give credit where credit is due, sir. Got to give credit where credit is due, man. You earned your stripes.
I'm just an old guy. That's all. Just an old guy.
Oh, and he's humble too, Jack. So now I know where Jack gets the all shucks, because I call him all shucks. So you are the original all shucks. All shucks who me, man. I'm just an old guy trying to make it, man. Yeah.
If I drop a F-bomb, then you know everything else is going bad around me. You better back up.
My man.
That's all it's about. Hey. Well, hey, Fred, thank you for being a guest on the show today. We want to welcome you to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Already see Miss Patty's out there, and then dropping a comment. If you're out here, drop a comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are celebrating Father's Day all month long, and we're glad to have you here as a guest. I'm just letting you know right now we're already live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, live on Twitch. And then once the show is over, we'll make little cuts of it and put it on Instagram and TikTok and all those other streaming platforms. And I just want to say again, thank you, but I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who don't know who you are, please tell us about yourself.
Well, first off, I'm your uncle, so be nice. No, I'm just an old guy. You know, I got 4 kids, a son and 3 daughters. They're all doing well. I'm very proud of them. You know, I got 3 granddaughters who they're doing very well. I'm retired from Baltimore Gas and Electric, and a college graduate from Bowie State University. And I just a guy who likes going out each day and doing something. I don't like sitting around doing nothing. So if it's from working in the yard to going to sporting events to playing cards, I'm that guy, you know.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate that description or introduction of yourself, because now we got plenty to talk about. And what you didn't, didn't hit. I know I was with you last week, a week and a half ago, and we went to a ceremony. And we know it's Father's Day month that we're celebrating, but went to a ceremony at Fairmont Heights High School. And I know when I grew up playing sports, and I'm out of PG County, Maryland, for those who wonder where we at, but Fairmont Heights was like one of those schools we played we had to play against. I've never went there, never actually went into school to be a student or anything like that. But we was there, and we was there because they had just inducted Frederick Jackson Sr. into the Hall of Fame for Fairmont Heights High School. So I didn't even know that Frederick Jackson Sr. went to Fairmont Heights, but then even to say he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So, and one of the things you mentioned when you gave the speech, because we know that Frederick Jackson is your father, my grandfather, but he's now inducted into the Hall of Fame. But you said that he was killed in Vietnam. So we know that he served in the military. I mean, he played professional baseball for the Pirates, but he was all killed in Vietnam. And the thing I wanted to talk to you, and almost the first question was, how old were you when that happened? Cause I think you mentioned it in the speech. I just wanted to touch, but how old were you when he had passed?
Yeah, he passed in 1967, October. I was 13 years old. We were living in El Paso, Texas. And then after he was getting ready to come home, and they bombed the airfield, and him and his driver was coming back from an award ceremony because he was in Vietnam. He won the Purple Heart, and he also won the V for Valor. I'm trying to think what the first part of that award is, but it has a V, Bronze Star with a V for Valor on it. And they bombed the airfield, so he never came home. So we left Texas and came back to live in Washington, D.C. I went to live with my grandmother, my sister. She went to live with our great-grandmother, and my other 3 sisters went and lived with my mother. So that's how we got sort of divided up for a while. But he was a catcher. He was on the Pittsburgh Pirates farm team, and he was a left-handed catcher. So just think of that, a left-handed catcher. That is very, you don't see many left-handed catchers, but that's what he was. And the first time I ever went out for a baseball team, I'm out there playing the outfield with a catcher's mitt. And I'm dropping stuff left and right. And he came out to the ball field after he heard I was out there and bought me a glove so I could catch balls in the outfield. But I'm out there trying to catch fly balls with a catcher's mitt.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah, I guess you can if you can just get up to it, but it's a whole lot easier with an extra regular glove on.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, when I'm looking at it, so at a young age, so 13 years old, you finding yourself becoming like almost like the man of the house. So what was that like for you, or that experience like for you at such a young age?
Well, at 13, it was kind of tough. I was, like I said, I was living with my grandmother, and I didn't come out to Maryland until I was in 9th grade, and I went to Thomas Pullen on Bright Seed Road to finish out 9th grade and graduated from there and went to Central. But I lived in the house with my mother and 4 sisters, and there was a lot of females up in there. That's all I can tell you. And so I spent a lot of time out in the street. I didn't need to be home. And I hung around different places, but I played sports. I played football, wrestled, baseball, ran a little track. So I was always out of the house. And I had a paper route. Every morning, 6 o'clock, I'm out there delivering papers before I went to school, you know? So I kept busy, but no, I never felt like I was the man of the house. I always felt like I was somebody that had to do certain things around there at the house. But my sisters will tell you, let them not be doing the right things. They would have thought I was the man of the house.
Right.
So it was just interesting. My youngest sister, even to this day, she gets funny and she likes to call me daddy. But she says I'm the only father she really knew because my father died at such a young age.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's I think we're talking about sometimes without being the biological father for someone or whatever, you still had that father role or that man figure that they could turn to and say, hey, this is what's going on, or da da da, and having somebody be able to stand up for them or even point them in the right direction. So, and then we're talking about in the early 60s or the late 60s and the early 70s. So, it was tough just being African American during that time in the United States in Washington D.C. area, and I'm not even sure of Texas because I've never lived out there to know, but I can only imagine what that was like because now you have a single mother with five kids, and so you're like a great statistic. You're not supposed to make it if based off of what people said. So is that something that motivated you or gave you that extra drive? Or
Well, I would say this about my mother and father. They wasn't big sticklers for going to school, but my father was also a guy, you ain't gonna play in school. So if you ever got the teacher call home and the principal called or something and say you acting up in school, he'd be standing out there on the sidewalk when school got over, and he would walk you home and explain how that wasn't going to happen anymore. So, but they didn't take for us to go and play in school. But and my mother, I have to give her all kinds of credit because after my father passed, my mother didn't know how to drive a car. She had to go learn how to drive a car. She never knew how to balance checkbooks and all. She had to do that. But she also had been a stay-at-home mom. So she had to go to school and become a nurse and learn how to be a nurse. And she did a very good job at that. So she worked hard at changing her life to support her 5 kids. Wow. So I'll give her all that credit. But at the end of the day, when you say about me, I just hung with the right people, I have to say. Now, we wasn't angels, but we wasn't hell raisers either. And to this day right now, that's 9th grade, there's still 5 of us, we still hang out together. So birds of a feather flock together, I guess. But we still hang out now, and I'm 73 years old. So they're all 73 years old also, but they all doing very well in what they do.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I mean, really it's inspiring to hear it, because I know I might say my closest friends are people that I went to high school with, or they bullied me at the rec center or whatever. But
this guy,
but at
man,
the same time, but no, all jokes aside. But no, those are the ones that and that hanging with the right crowds, like you say, the birds of a feather, that's real, and that is real. So it's good that you found I'll say the right crowd, because it's like right on the other side of the street could have been the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
And then the story would have been totally different, and we'll be talking about you holding your poster up saying you won it or something like that. So that's how easy it is, for sure.
You think at the time of when I came through in life, the whole neighborhood raised you.
I was about to say, yeah.
So you can act a fool all you want, but the neighbor going to come out there and straighten your tail out. Things are a lot different nowadays. People don't want you talking to their kids and this and that and that and this. But nope. So the people I hung with, their parents would also govern how you was going to act when you was over their house and in their street and so forth.
No, that is true. So of course, I'm your nephew, and I'm some years behind, but I do remember, if I went around the corner my grandmother, your mother, would get a phone call saying I'm around there, and they were saying, not that I was doing anything wrong, but it was just saying, hey, he's over here. So we're talking, all up and down West Mill Avenue, Pepper Street, Pepper Mill, all of those different streets. If I was anywhere, they would call. So they knew each other's number. They knew where you lived. They knew who your parents were. So yeah, we did the right thing. And I think it's in the chat. I want to check in the comments. They were saying, Patty said, I think our whole world craves that kind of childhood.
Yeah.
Whether they admit it or not, no phones, no internet, we were blessed. And it was
That's
just
a fact.
Because we had phones, they just wasn't cell phones. They weren't strapped to our hips. Nobody was recording everything that we're doing, even the knucklehead stuff they're doing. They recorded.
But you could always find your friends. Isn't that something?
Oh yeah.
I don't care where we were. If we were on the other side of the town, of the neighborhood, playing in the creek, they knew where to find us. We could always find your friends, man. Yeah. So now, kids sit next to each other and they text each other sitting in the same car next to each other. So
look. When we were growing up, if you were made to stay in the house, that was a punishment.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Now,
man.
if you're made to go outside, it's a punishment.
Yeah. Hey Fred, to your point, man. There was a lady in my neighborhood that as a kid, you ear hustle, and this lady had no kids, and she wasn't married, and she had some. I'm sure she had some mental health issues going on, and one day, man, the kids were out there throwing crab apples at cars. I'll never forget this, and I wasn't with them, but if they'd given me like another 10 minutes, I would have been there, but I wasn't with them at that moment. And she told my mother that she saw me with the kids. And I don't know what happened to me or what I was thinking, but I said, I wasn't there, Mom. She is, the last thing I remember is I was getting ready to say she's lying, but I remember getting she is out my mouth. And next thing you know, man, I'm on the ground. I mean, I'm looking up at the sky. And my mother, God bless the dead, always tell her, by today's standards, she ought to just be coming home from the penitentiary, man, because, hey, man, and I'll tell you, I deserved everything she gave me, and I'm a better man for it, man. So, yeah, that was a different time in my generation, and Jack, then you behind me. And after that, man, it kind of got twisted, in my opinion. Unfortunately, our generation raised those kids. And we got to take responsibility for that, man. So when it started changing, so how do you deal with that, sir?
Well, as you was talking, I was thinking of some situations that come around, and you take my mother. When we were talking earlier about being the man of the house, I remember one night she was going out partying, and I told her, "You ain't going out nowhere tonight." And she told me, "Yes, I am." So she went out there and got in the car. I went out there and laid across the windshield. She drove. We lived in Peppermill Village, so she drove up to the Seat Pleasant Police Department with me laying across the windshield, and went in there and got the police to come get me off the windshield.
Yeah, that's about a good mile at least. Mile and a half.
That's more than a good mile.
Mile and a half, yeah. Man.
Was that off of Sheriff Road back then?
No, Addison Road.
It was
Addison Road.
Addison Road.
Addison Road, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Wow, man.
But the thing was, she did that to show me she was the boss. And if I'd have fell off there and she ran over me, she still would have been showing me she was the boss.
Yeah.
I would have been hurt. She might have gone to jail, whatever, but she was going to be the boss.
Yeah. Hey, man, she said she can make another one just like you. So
No, she could never do that.
So you say.
All right. So, Fred, you said you went to, of course, you talked about your middle school or junior high school. You went to high school, and then high school at Central, and then you went on and play college, where you went to college at Bowie State University.
Yes.
And so I guess that was where most people would have stopped. So what made you want to go into a university or get that college education?
Once again, let's go back to Sylvia Ann Jackson, my mother. When I graduated from high school, only thoughts I had in my mind was get a job. And she came home one day from work and she says, okay, you got to start paying rent. Rent for what? For that room you got downstairs. What? Oh, and you got to pay for this. You got what? What? She says, or I didn't send paperwork to Bowie State. It was Bowie State College at that time.
Yeah.
And you've been accepted. So you got a choice. You can go down there or you can start paying bills here. So, but also because our father was killed in the war, we were getting some benefit from the government. It was like $220 a month or something. You know, it wasn't a lot. But back then, $220 a month was a nice little piece of change. And so each one of us, all 5 kids, was getting their own $220. So I could go to college, study, and get a check for $220. I said, let me go on down here to college. They were just starting a football team. And it was the first year for the football team. So I went down there and I played football, and that's how I got started in college. And it made me go do something different. But if I'd been in high school, you could have never made me believe I was going to go to college. But once I got to college, I really enjoyed it. I thought college was actually easier than high school because sometimes in high school it can get a little boring. But in college, if you don't go to class, they don't care. They got your money. You want to turn in an assignment? They don't care. They got your money. You know, so it was a lot of changes you have to make in yourself to move forward. So once I got there, I was definitely on my own, so to speak, and had to start making decisions for myself.
So Bowie State College at the time, I remember that was up in the sticks. By it being the HBCU, there still was a level of accountability that you had to that you expected that came your way. I mean, they weren't just going to let you just go willy-nilly and just do your own thing for so long. Am I right or wrong? I mean,
let me just tell you, when you went there, it was like having another family.
There you
go. There was a gentleman there named Charles Guilford, Dean Charles Guilford, took me under his wing. And to this day, we still meet and have lunch a couple times a year. We call and chit chat with each other. And I actually lovingly call him Dad because he took me under his wing and he guided me through college. You know, he hooked me up with a job at college. He hooked me up with some other things because my mother couldn't afford it. And actually, when I went to college, I didn't have a room, even though I was playing on the football team. They didn't have no full ride scholarships at a historically black college, small school like that. So at night, I was sleeping in my car or finding someplace else to sleep or whatever. And he found out about it, and we talked about it. And he said, go see these people. And they gave me a job on campus. And with that job came room and board.
There you go.
So and I wasn't the only one he helped. He helped a lot of young black men make it through college. Yeah.
So is that what drove you to be the man that you are today? I mean, as far as the way you help people?
I just think I'm a regular guy, but for helping people, I think that's always been in my nature, so to speak. But when I was at Baltimore, I finally moved to North Carolina, and I went around looking for a job, and everywhere I went, I heard overqualified. But I went to the electric company because my buddy's uncle, or his grandfather, worked there as the janitor. So I went there, and he said they got a job open for a warehouseman. So I went there on a Monday and applied, and they said, nope, you're overqualified. But I just felt good being there. I went back on Tuesday, same job interview. They said, no, we told you yesterday you're overqualified. Went back Wednesday and Thursday, same answer, you're overqualified. Went back on a Friday. And I told him, I said, let's make a deal. You hire me, and I give you my word, I will stay for 1 year. And they said, okay, let's go with that. And that's how I got into the electric side of the business. I was the warehouseman. But I used to see the guys out there climbing the poles and doing the work, and they were making a real good money. So one of the guys there, I said, I'd like to go out there. So after work, they would teach me how to climb poles. So then I went to the boss and I said, hey, I like to go outside now and be a lineman. He said, no, we got an agreement that you're going to be the warehouseman for a year. I said, you're right. I had a buddy that lived here in Maryland. He was out of work, but he did warehouse work. I called him up. He came on down North Carolina. We went to see the man. They interviewed him. And a week later, they hired him to be the warehouseman. I got to go outside and be a lineman.
My man.
Now, this company served 5 counties. I was the only black lineman they had.
Wow.
So, and it has God, as you know, we all talk about how God works, how life works, whatever. The guy that went down and took my place as the warehouseman, his mother was a maid here in Baltimore. And she worked for one of the big shots at Baltimore Gas and Electric. And he had told her that, hey, we're going to be hiring some people. Do you know any people? So she called her son in North Carolina, right? We both came up here and interviewed for the job, and we got the job as linemen. And so we became linemen at Baltimore Gas and Electric. And I got to give a shout out to my sister Sharon if she's listening, because I didn't have the money to come, and she paid my airfare for me to come up here and go back, because I wanted to come up and do the interview and all, so that, but I didn't want the company I was working for to know I might be leaving them. And I get up here and they had one of the biggest snowstorms in the history of Maryland. So I was a couple of days late getting back to North Carolina. But my sister Sharon helped me get started at Baltimore Gas and Electric by paying my airfare here and back.
Wow.
Yeah. So for our listeners, because, and I say this with all due respect, it takes a certain type of person, I'm not going to say crazy, to deal with electricity. Explain to our listeners what a lineman does.
All right. When you see a pole out in your front yard, a lot of people talk about, oh, that's a telephone pole. Well, let me just tell you, the top of that pole ranges anywhere from, for us as linemen, range anywhere from 13,000 volts to 33,000 volts on that pole. Now, a lot of times you're working on that pole. The wires up there are still energized because there's still stuff below there that you're working on. Now, if you ever have to get up to the very top of the pole, some cases, we're always going to de-energize the 33. But that 13,000 volts, sometimes you're working right 36 inches away from it. You're that close to it at times, depending on the type of work you're doing. And you're working off a set of hooks, and that hook's only about 1.5 inches long. And you got a belt around your waist that you put around the pole. And the tools that you're carrying up there, you're carrying anywhere about 20 pounds of material up that pole with you. And you carry a rope that when you get to the top of the pole, you got somebody, hopefully you got somebody down at the bottom. If not, you have to tie everything you're going to need to work on that pole on that rope and pull it up to yourself and then hang it at different places on the poles so you can get to it. Because if you drop something, the only person going to get it is you. Go back down and get it and start all over again. So, but a lineman is the guy who climbs the pole or works out of a bucket. So people like call it a cherry picker, but it's a bucket, and the bucket is set up so that you can work on it. And if you hit the electrical wires, you won't get electrocuted. It's insulated bucket. So that's what a lineman is.
But explain to me. I mean, that's not something like I want to be a football player because I played football when I was a kid. I want to be a doctor because I went to the doctor when I mean, I wanted to be a fireman. That's what I was, because I used to chase fire trucks. But to be a lineman, to mess with 13,000 to 33,000 volts.
What you won't see. Yeah.
How does that come about, man? How did you just wake up one morning, you want to do that? I mean, talk to me, man. That doesn't make sense to me.
Because let me just tell you, a lineman make money. A lineman make money. Now, if you want to climb that pole, you're going to make the money. And like I said, I was in North Carolina and I saw them guys climbing poles, making all the money. I said, that's what I wanted. I came up here to Baltimore Gas and Electric. And there's another thing, Walt. You'll find more people of color around here working electricity than you do when we go to a lot of other places.
Okay, I can believe
that. I started at Baltimore Gas and Electric as a lineman But as you progress, you become what's called a service operator or a troubleshooter. You
Mm-hmm.
work by yourself all hours of the night, all kinds of weather, and you don't know what you're walking into. But
That's true.
you learn how to deal with it, and you learn how to protect yourself by all the stuff that they taught you along the way. Because every day you learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that's teaching you, you have classroom, but
Mm-hmm.
classroom is not, it's teaching you theory, it's teaching you some practices, but the actual learning is when you're on them hooks on that pole and you're saying to yourself, Lord, I've been up here an hour already. Because you'll learn after a while that if you up there for an hour, you up there for 2 hours, you might be doing something wrong because you're not doing the things they taught you. You fiddle faddling around doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the life lesson is you have to respect the process. I mean, you have to understand. I mean, a lot of people looking for this fabulous, exciting thing. It's exciting, but you got instant consequences if you don't do what you're supposed to do, follow the rules, regulations, guidelines, and
Oh,
procedures.
yes, that
Right?
is absolutely correct. Because even when you climbing a pole, if
Mm-hmm.
you get away from your technique,
Mm-hmm.
you could be back on the ground.
Yeah.
And you could fall,
Yeah.
you could fall from whatever height, you know. I fell off a pole one time, but I was still what they call buckled in. I still had my belt on there.
Mm-hmm.
And as I fell off the pole, my technique was still to the point that my legs, after I went down so far, went back into the pole.
Okay.
But my heart was still up near the top of the pole. I'm like, what the heck just happened here?
And
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I also remember like the people skills you have to have because, like you said, we call it. In our case, it was Pepco. Guy may show up by himself, maybe a 2-person crew, but they still got to deal with the neighborhood, so to speak. But everybody wants electricity. Hey man, let these guys do what they need to do so we can get these lights on. Is that the attitude? Is that how it was with you?
I worked in Baltimore City itself
Mm-hmm.
twice. And I think one time I worked for like 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you going in the alleys because that's where a lot of the poles are.
Yeah.
And there's other things happening in the alleys.
Absolutely.
And they used to think we were the police. I'm by myself riding through the alley. And people come up and they say stuff to you, but you got to learn how to talk to them too. You say, look, I just got to fix this right here on this pole and I'll be on my way.
On my way.
Yeah. So we used to have to fix street lights. And at the base of a street light pole is where the plate is.
Mm-hmm.
But in that plate, there's all kinds of other things. That might be where they got the little hideout stuff. Right. And they say, hey, don't touch that pole. I say, look, I got a job to do, man. You come take care of your business. Let me do what I got to do. Then I'll move on. You go back doing your business. But I get paid to get the light on. If I don't get the light, they're going to send somebody else. It's going to keep on going until it gets taken care of. Mm-hmm. And so most of the time they understood it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you had to climb on people's roofs to get the service back on because that's where the wire is at. And, people say, well, I don't want you up on my roof. Hey, well, let's figure out something because I got to walk from this roof to that roof to do what I got to do. Mm-hmm. You're putting ladders up on the side of people's houses at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Them duplexes used to be terrible because the people next door, their lights is working because of the way the wires is run. But they don't understand. All of a sudden, they hear a thump and the ladders upside their house. Wait a minute, what are you doing, pal?
Right.
Yeah, because your truck is parked down on the end of the corner because you didn't have to get it down. You couldn't get it down the alley. You had to carry a ladder down the alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm saying now, and Walt, I hope we got our questions or our answers from wanting to be a lineman. And
hey, look, if I change a plug in my house, what's that? 110?
110, 120, yes.
Yeah, 110, 120. I cut the whole house off. I mean, the air conditioner, the lights, the stove, everything is off. Yeah. Oh man, I've been shot just electric football back in the day, right? Touching the wires, that's nothing. But I've been on calls where people have been dealing with electrical wires, and hey, man, you can't see it coming. I try to stay away from stuff you can't see coming, man. So, I respect you for that.
There's 2 things I don't play around with. I work electric because I know where electric is. It's in the wires, right?
Right.
I don't mess with gas because I don't know what
At
gas
least you
is.
can smell the gas. You can smell the mercaptan in the gas.
That is
And you can
correct.
smell the gas leak. But the electricity, man, and then you get into AC, DC, and volts and man. Hey, man, I respect you for that.
Thank you.
I definitely yeah, Big Jack. Hey, man, anybody that does that. I mean, just going to the golf course, playing golf courses under the power lines, man. You can hear that electricity jumping through those wires, man. I don't see
Well, if you can hear it, that means something wrong with that wire.
Okay.
It could be 110s, 230s. So that's
Yeah.
induction coming off the line.
But
so Fred, I'm gonna go back to your college days, and you're saying your mom, basically giving you those choices, pay some rent or go to school. So now that you're I know you got your career up and you're moving, and now you have kids. What was that motivation? Was that the same motivation you gave to them, or how did you do that as a father to your children?
I don't think it was quite the same motivation. Hey, you out of school, start paying. We talked to them. My wife and I talked to them all the time about you going to college. So from when they're little on, you going to college, and then each child, I used to tease them all the time and say, if you want to see what's going to happen to you, look what's happening to your brother. But I will say that all four of my children are college graduates.
Mhm.
I have two of my children also went and got their masters, and I have one daughter. She has her doctorate and she has her own career in Houston, Texas, and she's doing very well in what she's doing in her field of psychology. And all four of my kids are doing very, very well, and I got to give them the credit because you point them in the right way, and then they go do what they got to do. So I give them all the credit for where they're at. Mm-hmm.
Now, as a parent, do you believe because of you having your education, you getting a degree that gave them that, like you set the bar, you set a bar standard that, okay, I have to at least achieve this as a kid growing up?
Well, they were surrounded by educated people. Their grandmother, I can't remember what year how old she was, but she went back to college, and she was also a school teacher. So their grandmother went back to college. Their uncles on their mother's side, they're very smart. They were college educated. On our side, Billy, I believe I was the second one to go to college after your Uncle Forrest. And he went to Howard University. And then nobody really ever talked to us about going to college until it happened. So now I look behind me in our immediate family, other than you, Bill, I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head who went to college. And so, but now I see outliers of other people trying to go. Sean went to college for a little while. Yeah. But my whole point is, I always tell the Black people, go to college. It may not be for you, but you won't know till you get there. And because there's a lot of people that's millionaires that never went to college, but they had a plan and they had some money to help push that plan along. In our case, Billy, in our family, we don't have no money to help push it along. You got to go down there and hope somebody, because we have a niece right now that's going to college. One of the youngsters, she's going to college in New York. And that's what I'm saying. Some of that's slowly changing, but it's only going to change when you start surrounding yourself with like-minded people who want to go to college.
Now we know one thing for sure, it's not for everybody. So I'm like, I can't go to college. It's not for everybody, but it's having that person or someone to stand with you and guide you and tell you, hey, you might not go here, but you're going to do something. So sitting around was never an option. So that was that wasn't an option of I'm gonna be even though those are real careers now as far as gamers and stuff. So those actual real careers. So even though we were told when we were younger, playing video games ain't gonna do nothing with your life, it's like you'd be surprised now, and I could play video games, be a millionaire with it, because that's a real job now.
It's
in the militaries now.
Yeah.
If you can fly a drone, you one of the top soldiers in the military, because it's all about being able to guide the drones and stuff like that. It's just technology has changed, and we had to change with it.
Yeah.
But we know we're celebrating the fathers and giving, so having a success story like you just said, where you're saying all your kids are educated and professionals in their fields, that says a lot about you as a parent. And like you said, you gave all credit to them because they had to do the work. But sometimes it's just having someone point you in the right direction, and it don't, like I say, it don't mean you had to go to school, but the right direction, having someone to talk to, someone to kick you in the pants sometimes when you needed that little kick, or even like you mentioned, Sharon Jackson giving you just the money you needed to get up here for an interview and get back. That's a story that I never heard until today, and I'm not sure if anyone else had heard that story up till today. So flowers off to Mama Jack out there for being in a position to say, hey, yeah, and trusting,
helping a big brother.
Yeah, and because trusting, because how important some things are for some time. Like that's a door that was open because you retired from the company that you came up here to interview with, get the job, and go back. But you ended up having a full career with BG, so that door was open, and you never know what's going to come out of it. But that was huge. I'm glad to hear that part of the story. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And as I progressed through the company, I became a supervisor in the field. So that when you say the field, that's in charge of the linemen. And I was the first African American, Black, whatever title you want to give me, field supervisor in the history of Baltimore Gas and Electric. And so I started off with overhead crews, and I had 25 guys. And at the time I retired, I averaged 40 to 50 guys in my unit per year, because I took over the service operator guys who work by themselves. I took that unit over.
So Fred, what year did you become supervisor at?
2001.
2001.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
Your grandmother was still alive when I got the job. Yeah.
Wow. So 2001, Fred Jackson is the first African-American, Black, whatever you want to call it, supervisor in the field for Baltimore Gas Electric. I'm going to throw a trivia question out there for all you out there, even though you don't know Baltimore Gas Electric. For those who don't know, Baltimore Gas Electric is the oldest gas company in the United States. So they're the oldest gas company in the United States. So, and when you put the electric side to it, but they are the oldest. So you said 2001, you became the first African-American, correct?
Right.
I think Baltimore Gas Electric was established in 1816.
Wow.
So from 1816 to
2001
is when
and you were the first lineman too, correct?
No, there was other Black linemen.
Black lineman. Okay.
Yeah, there was other. No, that was the company in North Carolina. I was the first Black lineman.
Okay, Black lineman. Gotcha. Okay, I conflated the two. Sorry about that. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So one of my favorite quotes is by he's deceased now, Dr. Carl Holmes, who was the fire chief in Oklahoma. And this quote was, "All that I am, I owe. I live eternally in the red." So what did you do, Fred Jackson, along your way to bring other people along? Because you just seem like the type of guy that's going to be like, grab my coat and let's go.
Wow.
One of the things, Walter, may seem weird in this day and age, I don't cuss.
Okay.
I don't cuss. So I encourage all the young men around me to use your vocabulary.
Use your words. Okay.
Yeah. And so at work, I used to have a cuss jar. And the only free words you could say was hell and damn.
Okay.
Anything else cost you a quarter. You had to drop a quarter in the jar.
In your office.
Yeah. And so what happens is, if I said a cuss word, mine was automatically $1. And so I used to say, what's that kid's term? I don't know. You know that long word kids used to say, dubaflagi, something like that. I can't remember what the word is, but every once in a while I would say that, and they said, Miss Jackson, I don't know what that word is, but I think it's a cuss word. I just had to put $1 in the jar anyway and keep on going. But sometimes they would play with me and they would come up there and say, they drop $5 on the desk and they just start cussing up a storm. And I'm counting it off. And then they get up to like, $250. And then they say, let me have my change back, Mr. Jackson. I say, no, you might as well finish out the rest of this $5. We start all over again tomorrow. And I put it in there. And so what happens is at the end of the year, we used to buy Christmas tree angels. So, and we usually average about $500 a year in this jar.
Wow. A lot of
and we'd split it up and buy Christmas tree angels at the end of the year. So it was all in good fun and all. But like I used to tell them, this is a place of business. And he had a couple of them say, no, this is a warehouse. No, this is a place of business. Conduct yourself accordingly.
Right.
But I will tell you, Walt, one time I had to drop $1 in there for real.
Oh man.
Because this guy and I, we was going back and forth at each other. Talking about what he needed to do something. He talking about, and somebody from the side said something to me, and I dropped the F-bomb.
You dropped the F-bomb on me. Okay. So now everybody's like, whoa.
It was like E.F. Hutton in there. It got so quiet, and I looked around the room and I left. I got in my vehicle and I drove up to what's called the training center, Arlington Training Center. And I parked the vehicle and I'm getting out. As I'm getting out, people at the school, it's usually got 100 people up there. They walking down towards me, talking about, Miss Jackson, you okay? What are y'all talking about? Just that quick phone calls have been made, man. Fred dropped the F-bomb down here at Front Street.
It's on the wire, Jack. It's on the wire. We got a problem. We got action. Yeah, stay away from this man.
Somebody crossed the line bad if they got him.
Man. Yeah.
And the guy that said something for the side and I dropped the F-bomb, I had to go and I went and I apologized to him. And we good friends. He's retired. We still, when he's in the area, he stops and say, Mr. Jackson, what do you want from the bakery? And he stops by. But the guy who I was fussing with going back that evening, I'm sitting at my desk and he comes sit down at the desk next. He said, Miss Jackson, are you okay? He said, I've been thinking about this all day. He said, you dropped the F-bomb out there. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, man.
Wow.
That's go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's cool to have you on here because the thing is, we know we say Father's Day and we're looking at Father's Day like your own kids. But when you start thinking of all the different people you have led and guided and gave advice to and pointed in the right direction, or been that big brother, that uncle, that father figure, it's amazing because the thing is, I guess, and I know Walt talked about that, was it your counselor that gave you that motivation to do that, or was it just inside you? But I guess it's a combination of what people have done for you. Now you're doing it for other people. Is that how you just look at it as paying it forward in that sense?
Well, you know what they say all the time? People are watching what you do. And I'm going to use you as an example. I was working at Baltimore Gas and Electric, minding my business, and I looked up one day and he's standing in my doorway of my office. I said, where you come from? How you get in this building? He says, I'm an employee now. An employee? I never knew he ever applied for Baltimore Gas and Electric. Right?
That's the way he is, man. That's that guy. That's Big Jack. You know, hey man, he's not going to say anything. He's not going to tell you what's happening, what's going to happen. He'll make the announcement once it happens. That's just the way he operates.
He ran into a couple of minor difficulties when he started. That it had nothing to do with his ability to work. It had something to do with where he was living. And they tried to say, well, he lived too far. And I had to go and talk to the leadership. I said, that's his problem, not your problem. He got to figure out how to get to work on time and so forth, not you guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? And they backed up off him. But as I went and told him, hey, it's out there now. because you was living in West Virginia at that time, right?
I was living 90 miles away from the job.
Yes.
90 miles. And every day
And
you
they were
getting up
and
going
they
to
were
work.
saying he lived too far. But see, Walt, one thing I learned is the man of color in charge of some people, you got to keep receipts.
Got to
So,
keep receipts,
but,
bro.
so I said,
That's right.
well, so and so lives here, and so lives
Right.
there. But
Right.
that's 90 miles. That's 100 miles. They backed off of him.
Yeah.
And the man that he is now, he did it for himself, and he's moved up the ranks. He's actually at a higher rank now than I ever was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, but the
Okay.
funny thing is, I have a second nephew also works at BG&E, and they both do the same job.
Mm.
And look, Walt, they tease me. The other guys always, Miss Jackson, how you pull that one off? Because when Billy bounced into with his other job, wasn't it? I was getting all kinds of phone. How you pull that off? I ain't pull off nothing. He did what he was supposed to do. He applied. He got the job.
Yeah.
But so once again, I didn't encourage Billy to do what he's doing today. He saw what I was doing, I guess. He also heard that there was good money there because to be a lineman, you don't have to have a college degree. All you have to do is be willing to come to work every day. They will teach you what you need to know. They will even give you the clothes to wear and a stipend for the boots you got to wear.
Right.
But all you got to do is come to work every day.
Hey, man, that's no easy feat in today's time. Let me ask you this, though. I met Jack when he was like 8. I was, 12, 14, Jack?
Yeah.
So I guess y'all just gave up. I mean, he bullied me when I was a kid, and he was younger than me. So I guess y'all just gave up on the background checks and all that stuff, or they just don't go back to the childhood. Or how does that go, man?
They go back to high school, so he wasn't in high
okay,
school yet.
So he was safe. Okay, he was safe. All right.
But
I just wish
do
they
go back
called
to
me as
high
a
school.
reference. Because if they called me as a reference, man, I would just have to tell the truth, man. I mean, good man, but he bullied me on the pool table, man.
Yeah.
Got his father on me and all that good stuff. My main
But
man.
I like I said, I walk the halls, I walk the buildings, I could be in the
Mhm.
field or whatever, but I don't even almost like have a name. I mean, I'm just gonna be
Oh yeah,
straight up
you
because
his nephew. Yeah.
you Fred Jackson's nephew or whatever, and I'm like, yeah. Fred Jackson's your uncle, and because he has so many nephews running around, they have to ask me, is I'm a real nephew or
Oh wow, yeah.
that's my mother's brother. Yeah, that's a real.
Yeah.
Look,
they still question that.
I always loved the story that Billy told me about. He got a job and he had to go into the manager's office that he was going to go work for. And he in there talking to the managers. He's being nosy, looking around. He said, I know that guy over there. My picture's up on the wall in the manager's office.
Wow.
Of a totally different department because that same guy that he was working for used to work for me.
Wow, man. Yeah. Hey, man, I tell you, that's a heck of a thing. And I know you just doing what you do, and but I guess one of the most satisfying things is to see not that you were the supervisor, but how many supervisors, how many leaders, how many careers have you helped? That's a heck of a feeling, man. You can't put a dollar amount on that. I mean, that's got to be a heck of a feeling for you to go to some of these events and reach out to people and see that guys that you helped have exceeded your expectations and certainly your position. That's a beautiful thing.
There is one of the when I retired at my retirement party, the CEO called me. The COO was at the retirement party. 4 or 5 managers was there. It was over 300 people at the retirement party that we had at a VFW. And this was on day before Mother's Day. But at 11 o'clock in the morning, they was at my retirement party.
Man.
So, but let me just tell you though, Walt, I've made many mistakes in my life. So ain't no way of being. I'm not no goody. I've made mistakes. Hopefully, I've learned from some of my mistakes. If there's some things that I could go back in life and do over, I'd gladly would love to go back and be able to do those over again. But all I can say that my kids, my nieces and nephews, and my friends, that if I did anything that hurt your feelings, it was never on purpose. If I did some stuff you disliked about the way I was going through things, that was the way I was looking at it at that time. But not once did I try to do anything to you with evil intent.
So when you talk about making mistakes to this younger generation, is it owning up to the mistake and moving forward? Is it as simple as that, or am I oversimplifying it? I mean, because right now it's like everybody points fingers and spreads blame, but nobody wants to be accountable for their own situation. So help me out.
Well, Billy likes telling this story. When I would go out at night, you know, you had to go and watch your crews and all working on the streets. And I came in one night and one of my guys, he was doing some unsafe stuff, right? And so he had his truck in the alley, engine running, lights on. He's nowhere to be found. So anybody could have hopped in that truck and drove off with it, you know? I pull up and I'm in such a hurry to take some pictures of this because I know it's going to be, no, that didn't happen. So I hop out my vehicle and I'm taking pictures, and he finally comes back. He said, "Oh, you got me now, Mr. Jackson." I said, "No, it ain't about getting you. It's about, let's do the right things, because if you do something wrong, that means I'm doing something wrong." So as we're talking, he said, "Mr. Jackson, that's your truck over there with the door open, the lights on, the engine running?" I looked around and said, "Oh, yeah." So he tells me, he says, "Don't worry, Mr. Jackson, I'm not going to tell nobody." I said, "You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to tell everybody." So I had to write him up for what he did. And then I wrote myself up for what I did. And then I had to turn it in. And my boss just fell on the floor laughing. He said, "You wrote yourself up?" Yes, because if I'm going to hold that guy accountable, I got to hold myself accountable.
Yeah. Hey, to that point, I remember my wagon driver didn't put the wheel chocks down, and we put the fire out, did the thing, and the safety officer called me to the chief's buggy, and they told me, "Yeah, your wagon driver didn't put the wheel chocks down." And I said, "Okay." And so we're gonna need a special report, yada yada yada. And me just being the jerk that I am, I said, "So I'm looking over there, the wheel chock's still not down." And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. So you saw that my wheel chock's not down? It's such an important piece of this puzzle. You decided not to put them down? So now I'm putting you on charges too. So let's go." But the thing is, those moments right there are teachable moments, right? Because it's not about getting somebody in trouble. If you flip the script, you know that every incident where a lineman has been hurt, injured, or killed, right? Whatever happened at that moment has happened 20 times before, but just in that moment, everything went bad at the same time. Is that usually how it goes? And when you read the case studies and you read the reports, so like you said, man, checking your gloves, I would imagine, right? You guys got special gloves, right?
Yes.
Okay, so checking your equipment. Guys get away without checking their equipment all the time, but the one guy that gets electrocuted, that didn't check his equipment, it's a big thing. So you get all those examples to show people, man, and by you putting yourself on charges, I got to tell you, bro, hey man, I would tell people all the time that man put himself on charges, so you don't stand a chance.
That's it.
Like I said, anybody that writes
himself up, he give a damn about you, and I owe you a quarter for that one.
and it wouldn't have mattered if it was family or non-family.
Yeah,
No, we're not.
And Jack, to your credit, working with him or in the company that he worked for, filling his shoes, so to speak, to your credit, you get it you understand you got to be, you're being held more accountable. I'm not talking about by your supervisor, I'm talking about by him, because I mean, you had your whole life under this guy's tutelage. You know what he stands for and doesn't stand for, man. So I salute you for that too, man.
I can say this, Bob. I've been with the company for 18 years, and he has never received a call because I was doing something wrong, and then he come and maybe correct me or put me on the right path. So if nothing else, I can knock on that wood and say, hey, I was not the one. I'm not gonna say everybody, but
but think about it. You know, we all, like you said, Fred, we all make mistakes, right? But man, like, even if you get down to the point where you get close to doing something stupid or out of line, man, the last person you want to get a call from is this guy here. Like, I mean, it's less like that's a different type of pressure, man.
The thing is, the funny part of that is, and we're at the end of the show. So the funny part of that, Walt, is you could do something and think that nobody's going to know.
Oh yeah,
they'll call him first before
they on the street. Can you believe? Yeah.
Like, and he's retired. And he's still finding out more before we do.
Man.
But hey, Fred, I'm gonna ask you one more thing, and we're gonna close this show. And I thank you for being a guest on the show, and it's been an honor for sure, without a doubt. What would you tell any new fathers, or even fathers that's just in the grind right now and got kids growing up? What advice would you give them? Things that you learned, lessons learned, is something that you can share to say, hey, not so much if I could do it all again, but just a lesson that you've learned that you want to put out there to the people, the audience out there listening today.
It depends on what type of children you have. And I'm saying it this way. I had a son and 3 daughters, but I also had a unit that averaged 40 to 50 young men in there all the time. So I learned a certain way to talk to those young men at work all the time. Then I had a certain way I talked to my son. And if there's any complaint from my daughters, one of the things they used to say, Dad, we're not them young men. It was hard for me to talk to them a different way versus how I talk to the guys. So if there's anything that I wish I could have gone back and done with my daughters, is maybe have talked to them a little differently. I didn't yell and scream at them, that kind of stuff, but it's got to be in your tone of voice. It's got to be in some of the words you use, versus the guys. Because when I look at the guys that I had, I looked at them as my children. So if I had 40 or 50 guys, you actually had to treat them 40 or 50 different ways, because everybody can't take the certain way you want to talk to them. There's some guys you can bang them real quick, but you got to be careful how to talk to them. And if I could change anything, it'll be in my my way of talking to my daughters.
Okay.
So to that note, let me ask you this real quick, Jack. I know we got to go.
All right, you good. Go ahead.
To that note, are there any women who are line persons now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did that happen in your time?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay,
in my climbing class.
So give me that example. Give me that story right there if you can.
Yeah. In my climbing class, there was 2 women in the climbing class.
Okay.
And one of the things about women, and it's not a knock versus men, to climb a pole, you got to have strong legs.
Right.
And so if you don't have strong legs, it's hard to climb a 40-foot pole and carrying that 20 pounds of gear up these poles. So the failure of a lot of the women when I was first there was getting used to that. But over time, they've hired more women, and they've been very good at the job that they do. Because they came in with a HR may have hired a different type of woman, is what I should probably say, that could climb the poles and also deal with the 20 pounds of equipment. Because everybody has to climb before you get into a cherry picker or the bucket truck. See, so you have to learn how to climb. And I will tell you, there's been some women who's very good at their job. Very good.
That's what I need to hear. And the last question for me, Jack, and again, I got to ask him this. You say you would talk to your daughters a different way. Are any of your daughters married? And please give me the conversations on the son-in-laws when they come to talk to you. When they came to tell you or ask you for their hand in marriage or however that goes, man. Or any guy coming to pick your daughter up, Please explain that to me. And Jack is laughing, so I already got an idea how this is going to go.
This is going to be a quick question. I have 3 daughters, and none of them married, and none of them have kids.
Okay.
But,
right, but they all dated.
One thing I will say about them, they are independent women, and they stand on business. I got to give that to them.
I can imagine.
They are pretty tough cookies.
And I've met 2 of them, right, Jack?
Or as guests on the show.
As guests on the show, right? Okay,
and I will tell you, they have very nice personalities. They are helping people. They go out here and they do the food banks and the feed the hungry and but you have but one chance to do them wrong and you off the list.
Yeah, gotcha.
They're very independent and strong women, and I'm very proud of them.
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
Ron Jackson says strong Jackson women.
Strong Jackson women, yeah. I appreciate that. Hey, Fred, man, I've heard a lot about you over the years, and over the last year, I've had a chance to meet you, on some of the shows as guests, and it all starting to make sense now, man. After meeting you in person and having these conversations with you, it all makes sense, man. And I got to tell you, man, I've been a fan of the Jackson family for a long time. So, hey, bro, I salute you. Hey, man, whatever you decide to do in retirement, I know you're doing your thing. Like you said, you like to stay busy. I congratulate you on that. And hey, bro, you are cut from a different cloth. And when you look in today's times, you a guy that dealt with these things in your lifetime, and you just found a way to get it done, and I respect you for that. I mean,
I will say this, Walt. I am loved by many of them Jackson women we sitting here talking about. I will say that. So thank you,
my man. Yes, sir. All right.
So we are definitely over time. So thank you, Fred, again for being a guest on the show. I know you made a comment while we was in here talking about a lot of people are watching you and you just don't know who's watching. So I know I've been having my eye on you for years. So I appreciate you being that person that I can look up to and even be, without you even saying a word, I know if I can follow in those steps, I will be okay. So I appreciate that. So that's how, because Walt, I'm like you. I like work for BG. Why do I want to play with lightning in a bottle? That's exactly how I used to say it. But at the same time, I learned over the years that it's not about. I don't climb poles, even though I have climbed the pole, and I don't have to deal with that, hands on. Even though I've dealt with it hands on, but at the same time, it was a good career, and I looked at it like this: if this man could do it, then it must be okay. And that's all I needed. I didn't even have to ask him, because if you're in it, I know he wouldn't be in no mess.
He wouldn't be in a mess.
Okay, so let me put in the application, and that's where we are.
Yeah.
And he gave me some advice after it was over. So, as far as how to keep my job, a lot of, he gave me 3 things. I don't even know if he still remember the 3 lessons. You remember the 3 lessons to keep your job at BG?
I know one of them was come to work on time, don't steal, and don't lie.
Okay, so then here it was. He said, don't steal, don't lie, and don't fight. And as long as you do those 3 things, you'll have your job forever. And I was like, I do that easy.
I do that easy.
I don't have to lie to them, and I ain't fighting nobody. Because if you got me at that point, you got to put some more than quarters in some jaw, because it's going to be on and popping in there. But anyway, hey, Fred, thank you again. Thank you, everybody who's been tuning in and watching us today on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. We ask you to stay tuned all month long. We're talking to fathers. Father's Day, we celebrate it all month long. It's been a blessing. We talk to you later. And I'm going to just say peace. And we talk to you later again. Thank you. All right.
Peace. All right.
Give me 1 second, fellas. All right.